Reynan. Good afternoon, Maam and Bantecil. So I have an interview with you, Ma'am. So before I start to introduce myself, I'm Fritzie Bacaran, a BEd student of Bugho San Fernando Extension Campus. So I prepared here some questions. So I start, Ma'am. So the first question is, why do you want to teach?
At first, really, I really don't like teaching since I have already a background since my mother is a teacher. So I didn't really picture out myself to become a teacher since I've always wanted to become a nun. But then again, they keep on telling me that you have to dream big because being a nun is not. They thought that being a nun is not that a desirable profession. But then I left without a choice but to pursue this, just to express my gratitude to my parents that despite despite of the poverty that we have experienced, so I've seen their sacrifices, their hard work. So I took up my education in University of San Jose, and then though I really don't like my course, but then I strived hard, and luckily I had my academic scholar. So I am one of the academic scholars. So later, as time goes by, I realized, and then I learned to fall in love with my profession as a teacher, and that being a teacher is indeed a very tough job, since you have a lot of things to endure, in a sense that it is a big responsibility, wherein you are shaping the future of your students. So you're not just teaching them on their academics, but also teaching them to be a good citizen of this country, since that is one of our goal, that is one of our aim, and that we can produce 21st century learner that is ready to face the reality for the future. So with that, I can really say that being a teacher is the noblest profession, and that I learned, and that aside from learning, I came to feel the self-fulfillment at the end of the day after coming home from school. So I realized that despite of the hardship, despite of the difficulty in dealing with the diverse learners, I had this self-fulfillment, and that I am happy with what I am doing. Even though I am so tired, so that is my only consolation, that after seeing my students learn, after seeing them change their behavior, so if there is a change of their behavior, we can really conclude that there is a learning. So that is why teaching is indeed a very noblest profession, and then we can really be proud of it, and then be considered as a living hero.
Thank you, Ma'am. So the next question is, what characteristics do students want their teachers to possess?
Okay, so in my almost, I graduated 2015 and passed. Okay, I think within my 6 years of teaching, so I came to realize also that one of the characteristics that as an educator possessed, that students want their teacher to possess, is that first is you should be patient and approachable. In the sense that you have to have this patience in order to deal with your students. And also, you need to be approachable at the same time, so that your students will have this self-belongingness. Okay? Oh, I belong with this. So you are there. They can sense that they feel the love, and at the same time, if they trust their teacher, so meaning to say they can approach them easily. So that is one of the characteristics. Second is being a teacher, you should have the empathy. So it is also an important characteristic of an educator, since you also have to consider the attitude, and then so as with their situation at home. So by being empathic, so you always have to consider by thinking and putting your shoe in their shoe, so you can feel that dili na siya dapat pinunani. So, makain ka ba nga kanang, this approach or this learning approach is not effective. Kayo ka ba nga, ay, kanang, kuwan man di ay si Maam wala nakasabot na ako. So, you should be empathic in a sense na, kanang, labi na sa paghatag ng mga project. So, sometimes, dili magyud na ingon nga naa sila sa tanan gyud nga utang, most especially if kana wala sila kwarta o nana. So you have to be considerate enough. So mo na siya na empathic. Next is you should be always enthusiastic. So in a sense that you should always let your students feel the enthusiasm, and that by feeling that, so they can already possess that they want to attend your class. They are very much excited to learn from your class. So that is why being enthusiastic is always a good thing as a teacher, as one of the characteristics as an educator. Next, but last but not least, is being you should have a strong communication skills, because if you have these strong communication skills, it is also important wherein you know you're making connections with your students. So by having connections with your students, you will learn them. I mean, you will learn to know them in a sense that you will learn their learning style. So by having this connection, so you will already know where and when and how to cater their needs. So I think those characteristics is really a need to educators, and that in order for us to have an effective and efficient teaching learning process.
Yeah, so the next question is, how does a teacher's personality affect their success?
So by having these different types of personality, I can really say that both with their positive or negative characteristics or personality that a teacher has possessed. So it really plays a vital role wherein you tend to you are teaching them. You are the role model, and then so what you have displayed there in front of everyone, they are going to emulate. So whether it is good or bad, so the personality of the teacher really affects the teaching learning process, wherein some students, they will really think, oh, she is my idol. She is the teacher that I admire most. So they tend to emulate you. They are going to follow the things that you do inside the classroom, not knowing that sometimes we as an educator, we are humans. So we can commit mistakes. So they thought that those mistakes that you have committed are correct. So you have to, despite that situation, so you have to let them understand that these things are not good and these things are good. So you have to let them know the strengths and weaknesses, the positive and the negative. So they will have the critical thinking on what to choose, and then since they already have since I am handling grade 6, so they already have an idea what is right from wrong. So that is how the teacher's personality affects the learning of the students, because they are going to emulate us. So
the next question is, how do you incorporate parents or guardians into students' education?
Okay, so I always incorporate the parents or guardians their presence, in the teaching learning process, because the presence of the parents and the guardians are really important in the teaching learning process, because sometimes the learners are having a difficulty inside the classroom. So as with the topics that we have discussed, so I see to it that I always give them exam assignments wherein they are going to work on their homework. So by doing such, their parents will have a follow-up, close supervision with their students. So with that, so they can build already the connection, and then also it will strengthen their bond as a mother or a father and a daughter. So version bonding na siya pa. So with that nga ma-feel sa bata na, oh, my parents di ay kay kanang follow up na nila ako. So nagpakabana dahil sila nako. They care about me in a sense that they care about my education, they care about also my well-being. So with that, so the things that are hard for them to understand are already easy for them because they have the support of their parents. So it is really important that as an educator also, you also have to incorporate the presence of your parents or guardians. Kay it's woman na siya giingon na it takes two to tango. So you have to meet halfway ba. You are doing your job, the parents also doing their job. So we have discussed a lot of lessons here inside the classroom, but then education must not stop there, but must continue at home with the supervision of the parents. So that's it.
Okay, ma'am. So the last question, ma'am, is tell me about your teaching philosophy.
Okay, so my teaching philosophy, so I really do have a lot of teaching philosophy. First and foremost, I always have this one called the LUTs. Are you familiar with LUTs and HUTs? Lower order thinking skills and higher order thinking skills. So every time that I deliver inside the lesson inside the class, I always start with LUTs or HUTs because I want them to develop their critical thinking skills. And also, in the future, they will have develop or ma-enhance na nila or ma-exercise na nila ba ang pagka-critical thinker ba kay? Because we already know that we are in the modern day, so the competition is too high. So that is why my philosophy in teaching is always being from the progressivism, wherein they are going to think on their own. They can classify what is right from wrong. So I tend to let them be an independent student, and then at the end of the day, I always also facilitate them that the thing that they are doing right, they thought that is right. I will always correct them na dili na siya sa maayo inana. So with that, no, ma-exercise nila ang pagka-critical thinker. And at the same time, I can say that I also follow the learning by doing by John Bugho. So it is really very important that the students can learn through doing something, by doing on their own, through discovery learning. So with that, I think it is indeed an effective and an efficient technique. So though nowadays we are really having a hard time to deal with our students, most especially we have the 2-year the delivery that we have is the or we are familiar with the learning delivery modality that we have, the distance learning. So it is really hard for us as of this moment. The face-to-face classes really had a hard time to teach them because we nag-resolve na sila of bridge. Most especially if I am handling grade 6. So before, stop na sila o kanang face-to-face, they were in grade 3. So the medium of instruction was Bisaya bitaw, Cebuano or in vernacular. So sometimes when we deliver that lesson, so they are going to listen, but then they don't understand. So that is why I always provide activities wherein they are going to learn on their own. So as an educator, my role is a facilitator. So muna siya ng progressivism and by learning by doing by John Bugho. So that's it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. So, in part of my interview, ma'am. So, this is very great help for me as a future educator. So,
I hope so that you learn something from me. So congratulations.
thank you, ma'am.